Men, all this stuff you've heard about America not wanting to fight, wanting to stay out of the war, is a lot of horse dung. Americans traditionally love to fight. All real Americans love the sting of battle. When you were kids, you all admired the champion marble shooter, the fastest runner, big league ball players, the toughest boxers. Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time. I wouldn't give a hoot in hell for a man who lost and laughed. That's why Americans have never lost and will never lose a war, because the very thought of losing is hateful to Americans.
From a young age, our parents teach us to compete. And sometimes that spirit of competition can make us faster, smarter, or allow us to make a positive contribution to society. But sometimes we can be pushed too far and turn into something that we all don't want to be. Competition is prevalent in almost all realms of the animal kingdom. Leading the pack, food, shelter, and mating are all some of the areas that animals of the same species fight for. Charles Darwin's theories on evolution and natural selection tells us many things. In The Origin of Species, Darwin writes, "But the struggle almost invariably will be most severe between the individuals of the same species, for they frequent the same districts, require the same food, and are exposed to the same dangers." Natural selection tells us that the individual in a species who has evolved a certain characteristic to allow them to compete best for resources will be most likely to survive and reproduce, passing on that characteristic to its offspring. This has allowed mankind to develop from the ape into the upright, thinking, talking, texting beast that we have today. The theory of evolution and natural selection does not only apply to physical characteristics, but to mental ones as well. Take this couple for example. Let's call them Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel both love chemistry and are very good at it. They decide to have a baby. Common sense tells us that this child is going to be raised around chemistry-related things, and that in turn it will be interested in science growing up. Assuming that the child has non-abusive parents, they will encourage the child to be the best at what he or she sets his mind to, that being science. The child then wins the science fair and realizes, hey, maybe this science thing might work for me. So he goes off to college, where he meets a girl just like him, and they have a baby, and it starts all over again. That's what I call specialization, where offspring are given the resources, genetics, and motivation necessary to be encouraged to be the best at something. Take for example Ken Griffey Jr., whose father also happened to be a Major League Baseball player, and who taught his own son the game. No one likes to lose, but with the correct attitude, losing can give us the extra motivation that we need to succeed and be better than all the others. Just ask Tim Tebow.
But I promise you one thing, a lot of good will come out of this. You have never seen any player in the entire country play as hard as I will play the rest of the season, and you never see someone push the rest of the team as hard as I will push everybody the rest of the season, and you never see a team play harder than we will the rest of this season.
Competition should be encouraged among our children because it creates specialization, which will lead to the development of society in all walks of life through more efficient, hardworking people. However, competition should not be overemphasized or pushed because it will create sore losers. My hope is that in the end, human beings will look at competition as a virtue that can be used to do good unto one another, rather than to gain an edge or destroy someone else. As Aristotle described in the Nicomachean Ethics, for those who are friends on the ground of virtue are anxious to do well by each other, and between men who are emulating each other and there cannot be complaints or quarrels. No one is offended by a man who loves him and does well by him. If he is a person of nice feeling, he takes his revenge by doing well by the other.